Do some video recording of anything that is shown on the screen. Okay? Record that's not what's on the screen. No running. And go ahead and make some 10.
If they run, it's a bad sign.
Hi, welcome to the 2010 Archie Comics panel. I'm glad to have you all here, and I'm sure you all like Archie. We've had a lot of exciting announcements over the last year, and we're going to start off with our editor-in-chief and president of the company, Victor Gorilla, who's going to talk about what we've planned over the next 12 months. Victor?
I'm glad to take a full vacation.
How about San Diego?
I don't know what's tough to take here. Yeah, well, we do have a lot of things going on. And I'm sure that most of you are aware of the whole wedding story. Has anybody not heard about it? Just wondering. I'd like to see Joy. Anyway, that's been a very big thing for us. And we're continuing that storyline with a magazine called Life with Archie. We're continuing the storyline with Archie being married to Betty and Archie being married to Veronica. It's really showing it's really the backstory of the original series. Takes place quite a bit into the future and shows them living their lives as a young married couple. Betty and Archie go to New York. Archie and Veronica, who's married to Veronica, stays in Riverdale, and guess what? Works for her father. So with that, that's far over to tell you. You will have to read the rest of it for yourself. We're also working on Mike Uslan, who spoke at our panel, and who actually wrote the series for the marriage series. Is working on reviving Pure Heart to Powerful. Many of you remember Pure Heart to Powerful from back in the day, and we'll be reviving that in 5 issues, reviving old titles, Top Notch Comics, Blue Ribbon Comics, Jackpot, what I miss, something else, whatever, 5 titles. And we're also going to be doing some other storylines with Archie as Man from Riverdale, which has already started a series of 4 issues in Archie, I think starting with issue number 610. And you can see copies of that. We give you out some copies today before the week. So those of you who are lucky enough to get some, get a head start. Feel free. And we're also going to be working on bringing back one character in particular that I'm very excited about is Sam Hill. He was a private eye character back in the 50s, and we're reinventing him for the 2000s. And that's going to be written by Tom DeFalco, and it should be something really interesting to read about. Also, we will be introducing some other new characters. It seems that one of the high schools in the Riverdale area was closed up, and they had to move about 50 or 60 students into Riverdale High. So there's an influx of new students in there. You'll see a lot of fun things happening, fun and exciting. So keep forward to that. Anyway, I think I'm going to turn this over to Joy for a while. Joy has been working for the company for quite a number of years. How many? About 50, close to it. Yeah. And we worked together on quite a few projects, and Joy tried to give you some idea of how he comes up with some of his ideas, because Joy keeps on top of all of the current trends and sends me story ideas. And I'm saying, why is he sending me this? But he always sends me some newspaper or magazine article to back it up. So, I know, he's right on top of things. So, Joy, do you want to give a little bit of insight into how you delve into your scripts?
Actually, currently, to come up with a new idea, I follow the papers closely and look for something that can be converted into an Archie story. And I've gotten quite a few from that, even though many of the newspapers are cutting back and cutting out their pop culture section. But there's always an article about an ugly door contest or
Sign twirling.
sign twirling. Actually, I've got about 4 of those sign twirling. But
I've been twirling the stories too.
strangely, it started in California, I believe, this sign twirling business. And just the other week, I read where it's expanding into a big business on the East Coast, and enough of the sign twirling. But
On the Western stories.
yeah. So that's another reason for following the newspapers. I don't automatically come up with something I did 30 years ago or something like that. Well, actually, I did that on TV. And that's how I do it. How do you go about writing Archie stories?
Well, it's pretty easy. I have a 16-year-old daughter, so there's my story ideas right there. Got 10 years worth of ideas, so I guess then my son will be that age in a few years too, so I'm good to go for a while. But yeah, basically, we get a lot of ideas. I watch a lot of TV and a lot of movies and a lot of pop culture, so we get a lot of ideas from that. We just did our Jersey Shore parody of Riverdale Shore, which you can find that downstairs at the Archie booth. That was a lot of fun. Whether you love Jersey Shore or you hate Jersey Shore, I think you'll like the parody because the parody was a lot of fun. If you go online digitally, I didn't talk about this the other day, but we in our iTunes comics, our iWorks comics, we did a spoof of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Vampirella. It was Betty the Vampire Slayer versus Vampironica. And that's a lot of fun. And that continues into that's for the summer spectacular, which is the B&B spectacular is a quarterly digital comic. And then that story will continue in the B&B Halloween spectacular. And so basically, most of my ideas just come from trying to keep on top of what's current. And like I said, my daughter gives me tons of ideas, and her friends who read the comics have noticed some of the arguments that we've had in our personal life have been in the Veronica stories, and my daughter's friends have pointed that out to her, like, didn't you and your dad have an argument about texting like this? And then my daughter went to me, she's like, this is exactly what went on when we were fighting about it. I was like, yeah, thank you very much for the... I mean, you gotta get something out of this thing, come on. So that's like a general rundown of how you come up with story ideas. And then sometimes the editors help you, which is always a boost. Mike actually, Mike Del Rito, who's not here right now, he's sick, came up with the idea to do, he came up with the title of Riverdale Shore. So that was it. Ran with it. So.
Can you tell us a little about New School?
Oh yeah, New School. Yeah, Alex Simmons is writing that, and there's about 50 new characters. I mean, we're not showing all 50 yet, but I think I've done story style guides for about 20 characters. So basically, when this other school closes, Riverdale gets a new influx of students, and I guess roughly so far about 20 students, even though we say in the story there's 50, and a bunch of new teachers too. So that's a way to bring a lot of new blood into Riverdale, and a lot of new storylines involving sort of there's like a semi-rivalry between the two schools, and some of the new school kids are a little resentful of having to go to a new school. Some of the Riverdale kids aren't so happy, and then some of them get along fine. So there's like a lot of fun conflict that goes on there. So that's it's 5 issues. 5 issues? 6. It is 6. Okay. It's And that starts in Archie and Friends, number, I think it's 148.
Yeah, that's 149 this day. What is the last?
Of course,
Yeah,
so many
yeah.
different types of what's from Archie and Friends, from Archie to Jughead, to Betty Veronica, to Betty Archie and Friends.
Right. And the characters are here. They're going to be permanent characters, you know. So
And each one of the covers, you lay all 6 of the covers together in one big scene showing all the characters.
yeah, it's a really cool cover.
One big poster.
Yeah, Rex Lindsay did the cover. It's really awesome. So this, yeah, all 6 issues will make one large image. It's really neat. I think some of them are up here. All right,
Well, I don't do much work for Archie, but I recently have been doing the freshman year series, and thanks to Bill Galvin, who came up with the idea, and I was talked into doing the sequel, which was a lot of fun. I do other things, so it's tough to manage my time, and once I get into stories, I'm there all day, so it's a commitment, but I'm glad I did it because the sequel is fun, and we may be doing a follow-up. I was going to talk to Mike about this show, and now I'm going to have to go to his hospital room and sit by his bed until he gives me the green light. But outside of that, I've been doing stuff off and on for Archie for years, and I don't know if the topic is whether you get ideas, is that it? But I just draw from my high school experience, particularly the characters in Reggie, Betty, Veronica, and Chuck issues are all, I mean, almost verbatim things that happened to me, all my friends. So, my advice to all budding book writers out there, everything's material.
Back to Lash also wrote with, a few years back, Archie meets the Punisher. And I think that's typical of high school experiences. Right?
There was a hit in high school, right?
Yeah.
We have copied that Archie meets the Punisher at the paper. If you want to come by and see it.
Yeah, we're 2,400.
Yeah, there's about 100 copies left in the world.
Rich?
I'm Rich Kozlowski. I've been inking for Archie since '93 or so. Started on Sonic, so I think most of these people step up here, which is a real pleasure. Been able to work with a lot of iconic artists and writers, which is incredible. I also create some of my own self-published books, The Three Geeks, do some work for Top Shelf. I've worked for Marvel, Bongo, Family Guy. So I do a lot of other things. And I'm introducing a character named Grant. He's incessantly teased by this older father figure because he wouldn't order steak at a steakhouse. He ordered chicken. He was the only kid there who would do that. He wanted a cool nickname. I said, hey, if you order the steak, your nickname could be cool like T-Bone, but he went with the chicken. So now his name is Coco, and he can't live it down. Ladies and gentlemen, Grant, right there. Otherwise known as Coco.
You want to follow that up, Bill?
Okay.
Yeah, Archie.
I've been drawing for Archie since 2006. I got discovered here at the San Diego Comic-Con. I've just been having a great time drawing Archie. Freshman year was just a lot of fun. Got to kind of do a little bit of my own style to show them, a few years younger. Working with Bat, who did a great script on it. And then we just recently followed it up with the missing chapters, which kind of showed what Jughead did while he was away in Montana, and filled in some of the gaps, what was happening with Betty and Veronica, Chuck, and Reggie, and recently collaborated with Dan Parent on the Archie Valerie romance, the two-parter. And then I've also got Archie Twilight parody coming up. So I have to do a lot of research for that, but I've got Yeah, I've got two daughters that are Twilight fans, and I also have two teenage sons that gave me a lot of reference for the Pencil Neck G skateboard story that I also managed to put my two sons, Alex and Daniel. So that was a lot of fun. So it's been great drawing Archie. Hope to keep doing more parodies and more freshman year.
You want to tell us a little bit more about the Archie Josie story with Valerie?
Well, Archie, it was a great script that Dan wrote with Archie and Valerie in it. They just seemed to be these two people that just came together at the right time, and there was a lot of tension between the Archies and Josie and the Pussycats. Specifically from Betty and Veronica, who were pretty upset, as you can imagine. But that romance is not fleeting, and it's here to stay for a while. So that's certainly going to cause a little bit of trouble between the two bands. So we've also got a follow-up coming up soon. Victor, just drew that one not too long ago.
Don't be appearing in the guidance books.
So there's more romance between Archie and
And actually, all four of those stories will be compiled in a graphic novel. So, and I don't know what they're doing. Oh, they are. Thanks for telling me. The back of stories of the graphic novel specifically. They were scheduled for the digest originally, but we're putting them new material into the graphic novel. So I don't know what the release date is on that yet. But about the freshman year too, for those of you who haven't read it, it really shows Archie another time as a fight when he's a little bit younger and he's first going into high school, which is a time that quite a few of our readers experience now. They're not in high school yet. High school is kind of a scary thing to go into for kids nowadays. And when they read about Archie's experience, I think it sort of eases the pain a little bit, makes it a little bit more, a little calmer when they enter high school for the first time.
And in freshman year, Mr. Weatherby becomes the new principal of Riverdale High, and he's relieved, and then he sees that Archie naturally shows up at Riverdale High, and their first meeting again after the little Archie years is pretty cataclysmic, and it's a surprise for both of them. So it's fun read.
Tanya, you want to tell us about Sabrina's and what else you're doing now?
Yeah, so I've been working for Archie since about 2003, and I was primarily the writer and artist on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which was the manga style. I also did some side stories in Sonic and some other things here and there. Lately, my focus has been shifting to writing some mini-series. So most recently, I wrote a 4-part Cheryl Blossom story, kind of a Gossip Girl-like, where she's in private school and competing against a new student to be the most popular student in school. So that's going to be pretty cool when it comes out. And I've just been writing some various stories and hopefully working with some new characters that'll be coming out. So.
Andrew, you want to tell us about Katie Keene and magazine as well?
Yeah, I'm Andrew Peetoy. I've been working for Archie for about 13, 14 years. About the first half of that I spent working on Sonic the Hedgehog and Olivia Kidna and things like that. But a few years back, my editor, Mike Pellerito, saw something I had done for another book and thought, it looks like you do a good Katie Keene. So I started working on bringing back Katie Keene, which was a real fun thing for me because that was my mom's favorite character when she was a kid. So certainly I always have to get it right because mom's keeping an eye on me for this one. So my sort of plan with the with my version of Katie Keene was to keep keep the spirit and the feel of the old series. So any of you remember it from the old days or have read any of the older stories. I'm trying to keep the spirit and the feel of that, but more of an updated version, without really changing, what made the characters special and why people still remember them today. A few years ago, we did a series that ran for about 10 issues in Archie Friends magazine, and was then later collected into this trade, Katie Keene, Model Behavior. Exclusive to the trade is a 22-page so-called origin story of Katie Keene, telling you how she got to be the big famous supermodel slash singer slash actress that she later became. As far as what's going on now, well, after a little break, Katie's going to be coming back. I'm not sure exactly what. And just like before, and so I always put this call out whenever we're in a panel, just like before, Katie and all of her friends are going to need something to wear. Got to put clothes on these characters. They have to pass the comics code. So, and so that was always one of the things with Katie is her outfits and her friends' outfits and her cars and things around her house. Anything was designed by the fans. So, once again, putting the call out there. You got and if you want to up your odds for getting something of yours used in the book, send me something I don't usually get. I get lots of things for fancy dresses for Katie, but what people don't send to her would be like accessories for her, like earrings or shoes or stuff like that. Or send something in for the guys. Nobody ever sends me anything for the guys. So hope you guys will keep an eye out for when Katie's returning very soon, and send me some ideas. I always like as many of them as I possibly can. She changes clothes constantly. She's a little indecisive, but that gives me a lot more chance to use her stuff. I'm also inking the Betty, Archie Loves Betty half of Life with Archie magazine. Go Betty. And having fun with that, as Victor mentioned earlier, tells the story of what happens, after the wedding, how life is for Archie, if you were with Betty, versus Veronica. So having fun with that, making Norm Brayfogle, well known for his work on Batman and Prime and things like that. So I'm having a good time with it, and just glad to be here. I have a great time doing these things. And I'm a fan too, so not only do I get to work on these characters, but I collect these things myself. So I'm with it.
Victor, you want to talk about the Tiny Titans Archie crossover?
Yeah, we're working with DC Comics with a crossover with Little Archie and the Tiny Titans. And it's really fun stuff. I've seen the first 3 covers and a little bit of the storyline, which is kind of funny because what happens is that seems the Tiny Titans uniforms are brought into the same cleaners as Little Archie's and his friends' clothes are being brought into. And the clothing gets switched, and Little Archie Little Archie character winds up with Tiny Titans uniforms, and the Tiny Titans wind up dressed as Little Archie and his friends. So where it's going from there, I don't know. I've only seen it going that far, but it was pretty funny at that point. So I think that's scheduled to be coming out here in October.
October is the first issue.
Yeah, October should be the first issue, and the artist and writer on it, they're really cool guys. They're very funny, and I think it's going to be a great crossover. So look at that in October.
And what's going on with Baby Archie?
And Baby Archie's is we got to get Mike O'Leary with his hospital. Unfortunately, Mike O'Leary came to San Diego and all of a sudden had an appendicitis attack. Now he's in the San Diego hospital. So after this, we're all going over there, the bus. But yeah, we've been working on that, on the Little Archie babies, and it's really cute stuff. I think that should be coming out. That's coming out of the
Yes.
coming out of you can probably more about it than I can, but
Mike Huckle from Hero Bear is going to be writing the story, and anyone from Sonic is going to be doing the art. And we have pictures up here, not this exact second, but we do have pictures up here of the Little Archies, and they're very cute. I mean, in the tradition of Baby Mickey and Baby Looney Tunes. Another thing we've got, you want to talk about the April's wedding special?
Yeah, we passed out that little invitation that came in here. That's promoting an Archie Gets Married hardcover book of the entire series. It's a beautiful book. If you come by our table, we have a prototype of it. There's nothing written on the page, but the cover and the slipcase that it goes in. Dice, cut slipcase. But this book not only has the stories in there, but it has a lot of it has some copies of the original scripts in there, some of the original pencils. It shows the whole development of the entire story from the beginning to end, including some of the emails between Mike Eastlawn and myself talking about the story, not discussing how much you can get paid per page, but you won't see that. But you will see some of the back and forth on that, and also interviews with Mike Eastlawn and myself. It's really a beautiful book, and even if you have the comics, and even if you have the trade paperback, you want to have this book. It's really nice, and that should be available. Probably not until I think January.
Yeah, it goes around next year.
Yeah, but it's really very nice.
I'm sorry.
October.
Okay.
Right after the summer, just before Halloween.
And what about the revamp on Little Jinx?
I haven't seen anything on
No, we're doing.
that. I know we are, but I haven't seen anything on that. That's a dig. Nobody shows me anything.
We have some pictures on the slideshow of Little Jinx. We're bringing back Little Jinx as Jinx. Instead of being 7 children, about 13. A little younger than the Archies, but still a lot of fun. Style's a little different, but I don't know exactly when we get to it in rotation, but we do have pictures up there.
What about those slick-looking statues?
Those statues are coming from Dark Horse. Those are just the prototypes. They have them downstairs at the diamond booth right now. And
those will start to be available in January. The first one, I think they'll be releasing 1 or 2 every month after that. They're limited editions and they're really beautiful. They did a nice job on them. Yeah, you'll see pictures of them. They'll come up. They just showed them before, but they're really nice. If you're a collector, and it shows Archie how he appeared back in the 40s when he first appeared in Archie. They kept comics actually. So, like I said, if you're a collector, you don't want us to go.
The only thing we haven't really touched on is Sonic. Do you have anything you want to learn on Sonic?
This is Sonic Editor.
All right, Sonic Editor is with us.
We'll have to go to that table.
Okay. Down to the 24. 2400. We have our Sonic Editor. For anyone who's fans of Sonic, usually happy to talk to you at length about Sonic.
Well, we are still doing Sonic for quite a while, right?
Yes, Sonic is the longest running continuously published licensed character. We've now beat Conan. Marvel's run Conan was 205 issues, and we're up to 218 and going strong. We've got the companion series, Sonic Universe. We've got 2 trade paperback series, Sonic Archives, which collect early adventures that are very hard to get these days, especially since we're up to 218. And then Sonic Select, which collect all the mini-series, the various offshoot characters that we've done over the years. And both are very popular.
Sonic Archives is number 14.
Sonic, Now we're doing 6 titles at a time, right? 6 issues, yeah. And those pages, right? Also, we're doing something with the Ronald McDonald House.
And that's
the Ronald McDonald House slides up right now.
Yeah, we just finished for the Ronald McDonald House in New York. We just completed. Dan did the design, and then we had about a half a dozen people putting together this mural that's been put up in the kids' sort of a library reading room for them. And we're actually going to be kicking off our 70th anniversary at Ronald McDonald House in really do a great job there with the families and with the children and the families in particular. They house them all. Unfortunately, a lot of these children are very sick and they have to go for treatments. But Ronald McDonald House provides residence for them where they can, have as normal a family setting as they can while they're going through these treatments. And I went through the tours of the place, and the children come here from family, I should say, come here from all over the country and the world to hopefully recover. But so we're in partnership with them, and we're helping them to raise money. And
we're doing a special fundraiser.
What?
We're doing a special fundraiser.
Yeah, we'll be working on that, and we're also, in fact, when I get back from San Diego next week, there's going to be about 15 or 20 children coming up to our offices for a presentation with get comics and see how a comic book is made and put together and so forth. Should be really nice. I'm looking forward to that. That's the story. That's the story. You're going to be there, like that.
We'd like to take a few questions from the audience at this point. If anyone would like, we have a microphone right there. We can do it from here. That's right. We can talk loud enough. Okay, the microphone's in the center of the room, and that way everyone can hear.
Hi there. My name is Josh, and I just wanted to know if the huge chance to get so at least like 1,000 of them before sell at some point to afford. Yeah. But I still have kept like a couple hundred, so a huge fan. I'm just wondering what you guys are thinking about with the movie as far as Archie movie goes, and production, and the process of making it.
We're working on it. We can't make it an announcement yet. Hopefully we'll be able to have something to say by Comic-Con in New York.
No, yeah, we're planning to make an announcement in New York at the New York Comic-Con.
Okay.
But we don't have enough to say yet.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I better be in it though.
Hi, everybody. I may be saying something based on something I misremember, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought a few years ago, Archie announced it was going to stop using like the cheesecake covers for Betty and Veronica, but lately I've seen a dime that looks like every cover has a bikini picture. I don't think there's anything wrong with girls enjoying being pretty, but I was just wondering if that actually happened and if that decision was reversed.
Well, I take responsibility for that.
Okay.
for drawing them.
Oh, fair enough.
Did we have that as an editorial?
No? Okay, I don't have any information. No, thank you.
That would have been traumatic. That would have been
What? Yeah, what would you draw?
I don't know.
I kept thinking, what?
I may be a little bit out of the loop. It's been a while, but as a kid, I remember reading Archie cartoons. Stacks of them. One summer I had a stack this high and reading them and did not realize couldn't tell whether I was reading in English or Spanish anymore because of the international aspect of Archie. With Archie getting married, is there future plans of Archie with a family? The next generation.
In the wedding set, which we have down in trade paperback, you do have the children.
Oh, you do have the children?
Yeah, they're in there, and I assume they're in the magazine as well.
But are you going to develop them as a series?
Yeah, what happens is the stories took place in Archie 600 through 606.
Okay.
And that told the story of Archie marrying Betty. Veronica actually started. And then we went and showed what would happen if Archie married Betty. And so then in the magazine, which just came out, and we have it downstairs in our booth, it tells two stories. One story is what Archie's life is like marrying Veronica, and the other story is what his life is like marrying Betty. And it's very different because that affects all their friends, all their relationships with their friends. What does Betty do if he's married to Veronica? What does Veronica do if he's married to Betty? And so it's kind of interesting there. They did have children in the miniseries. They haven't shown up in the magazine yet, but they will down the road.
The magazine hasn't caught up to that part of the story yet.
And one little last question in the international aspect. How many international characters have been introduced into Archie over the years?
There are lots. I mean, I would say maybe 30.
Pretty close to it.
Yeah, and we do have international editions. We do have a partner who's publishing in Mexico in a Spanish edition right now. And I mean, all over the world, it's being translated. Yes.
Since like Archie's kind of a player with Betty and Veronica. What happens to like Reggie?
Well, Dan, in the absence of Fernando talking about Reggie.
Well, the latest thing I do with Rachel is the Jersey Shore thing, because he's like the star of that book. Because, if you watch the show, just like the situation on the show, Rachel's the complication in the book. So him and Cheryl kind of take full force in that story. But, I mean, yeah, Rachel's still there. He's still,
a player.
Yeah, he's still a player. Yeah, he's
Archie spoiled.
Yeah. He's not going anywhere.
So Kevin, the scroll there. Curious as to what the thought process are about introducing a new kind of character to the Archie mythos.
What was the question? Sorry.
How do you come to decide that this is the time and this is the place to introduce me a character?
We had a story meeting. We had a story meeting a few months ago, or a little longer ago than that. I came up with this idea for what would be the ultimate guy that if Veronica couldn't get, and then we talk about the gay character would be the guy Veronica couldn't get. So we couldn't talk about the story. We liked the way the plot was unfolding, and now we're pretty committed at Archie to diversity, and we thought that's kind of what the time seemed just right. With the Veronica story, we were working it out, and our commitment to diversity, and it just all kind of came together. So yeah, Veronica 202 is September 1st.
I was just going to say, you guys forgot to mention, we were talking about Archie marrying Betty, or Archie marrying Veronica, but we forgot the issue where Archie married Jughead in Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to thank you for my one-year subscription to Mad Magazine that I got, because I was an Archie Comics and Veronica Lodge lookalike winner, so when I told them that they basically did a parody of me in Mad Magazine, and so I gave a subscription, got a one-year subscription, so thank you guys.
We don't actually have any control over Mad Magazine. We appreciate the thought.
They did show it to us before they published it.
Thanks so much for that Valerie storyline. Because I remember back when I was at school, we used to go, well, who's the hottest chick and the most eligible bachelor in the Archie universe? And I always said it was Valerie.
Right.
Yeah, it's always people say Midge. But I wanted to make a pitch for Dilton. I think it's time for him to get together with Midge. So, I think we'll create some interesting connections.
There'll be a lot of vision because you're Dilton and Moose are best friends. So there you go.
Yeah.
Dilton.
Anyway, but I just want to say thanks for the Valerie. More Valerie, please.
There's more time. That's going to continue on. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Good. All right. Victor, we have more plans for the Joseph Elizabeth coming up, right?
Yes. In fact, we're working on some other things with Josie. Hopefully we'll put together a live that shows the band and some other things, but it's a little too early to talk about that.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. Okay. We did bring some free comics for everyone who came to the panel, and we're doing a lot of stuff here. And we thank you all for coming.